The print, 5th of April 2024, recent setbacks in relations with India are not what we want, stated China's highest-ranking diplomat in Delhi. While it constructs its aircraft carrier fleet to dominate the Indian Ocean and bleed India to the north, China seeks to divert India's attention to the north. The charged affairs of China in India it is not what Beijing desires to see, Ma Jie stated Thursday that relations with India have experienced some setbacks in recent years. His remarks were made against the backdrop of the most significant military escalation between the two nations since the 1962 war, which occurred in 2020 after Chinese incursions along the Line of Actual Control, LAC, along the Indian side. However, Ma stated that bilateral relations between the two nations had gained momentum in a positive direction. Despite the Indian government's efforts to implement countermeasures, trade has continued mainly as planned. However, diplomatic progress has been minimal, except for a meeting between the two countries to resolve the border tensions. 2 years have passed since the last Chinese ambassador to India was appointed, Sun Weidong, who retired in October 2022. Ma stated the following at an international conference honoring the visit of the Indian poet and writer Rabindranath Tagore to China in 1924, "Recent years have seen a decline in China-India relations. We do not wish to see this. Some individuals doubt the bilateral relations between China and India by focusing on their differences." Further stating that Beijing has a long-term and strategic perspective on relations with India, the Chinese diplomat asserted that the two nations have enormous potential for cooperation and share numerous broad interests. With proper management of divergences, the pursuit of common ground while setting aside differences, and concerted efforts towards a common goal, I am certain we will be able to dispel the ominous clouds and welcome the renewal, Ma further stated. In recent weeks, India and China have engaged in a verbal altercation over the latter's territorial assertions regarding Arunachal Pradesh. A spokesperson for the Ministry of External Affairs, MEA, of India reaffirmed the government's position that Arunachal Pradesh was an inseparable and fundamental component of India during a weekly media briefing on Thursday, the same day Ma delivered a speech at the conference. India responded on March 28 to China's fourth list of 30 new names for various Arunachal Pradesh locations published last month. While India acknowledged that Beijing might repeat its baseless claims, it maintained that the ground reality remained unaltered. More than 2 decades have passed since military commander-level discussions between India and China commenced following the 2020 conflict in the Galwan Valley. During these discussions, they agreed to a complete cessation of hostilities along the Lak and eastern Ladakh and the restoration of peace in border regions. The most recent round took place at the Chushul-Moldo border in February. Foreign Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has repeatedly stated that normalcy and progress cannot be achieved in relations between the two nations so long as the border regions remain troubled. The term positive momentum is used. The Chinese chargé d'affaires stated at a conference commemorating the centenary of Rabindranath Tagore's visit to China that bilateral relations between the two nations had experienced positive momentum of improvement in the previous year. Both parties maintained interactions and communications at the highest level. Both bilateral trade and people-to-people interactions between our two nations have gradually recovered and increased in magnitude, Ma stated. Notwithstanding geopolitical tensions, bilateral commodity trade reached an all-time high in October due to an upsurge in gold imports from China, which coincided with the holiday season. However, India has been actively striving to reduce its trade deficit with China, surpassing $100 billion in 2022. Saad Ahmad Warich, the chargé d'affaires of Pakistan to India, advocated for harmonious cohabitation, sovereign equality, and reciprocal regard between Islamabad and New Delhi a month ago. Relations between the two nations declined after August 2019, when Pakistan voiced its opposition to the Narendra Modi administration's decision to revoke Jammu and Kashmir's special status.